Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you guys are new here, my name is Peter DeBuslo, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about using the new lens from AstrHori 27mm f2.8. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. They did send me this lens to review and test out. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I use this exact setup to shoot a full wedding day and to also shoot some boxing content. What it came down to was, putting my Nikon Z8 away and using that for shots that were meant to be on sticks or, speeches and stuff like that, and just using this small little setup. I gotta say, running around an entire 12-hour wedding day with the Nikon Z30 and the 27mm f2.8 from AstrHori, and that whole saying that gear does not matter, it's true, it doesn't. This lens is basically almost the same size as the kit lens that comes with the Nikon Z30. So the one thing that I really love about this lens is, the size, the weight. It's pretty small. It can fit in a small little bag. So if you are like a minimalist or someone who likes to shoot things and bring only a certain amount of things with you, then this setup is going to be your go-to setup. Walking around with this, with the tripod plate on here, and a tripod or monopod, whatever you're going to be shooting with, makes you ready for the shot. You have less things to worry about. I didn't use a monitor just because we do have the flip out screen on the Nikon Z30, but shooting with this lens, it's small, autofocus. It is a 27mm, so it's probably going to be similar to 35-36, which I love shooting on, and that's one reason why I said yes to doing this review on this lens and here on this channel. I love that focal length, and that's just my go-to focal length, and that's basically when I started shooting weddings. I've really only used a 35mm. So I gotta say, using a 27mm on a crop sensor camera is probably one of the best focal lengths, and even to use it with a gimbal, it just makes everything look good. The price of this lens, I am not 100% sure, but by the time this video goes up, I'll put the price right here for you guys to check out. Also for a link of this lens in the description below. One of the things that I don't like about this lens is there's not much grip there for using this lens in manual focus. So if you were to buy this lens, I would just let the camera do its own focus for you. I did try switching this lens into manual, and I just kind of felt it hard to turn the metal. There's not much grip there on the actual body of the lens, so I just kind of felt a little slippery. Another thing, this lens does flare, and now I'm not too sure if it's just the copy that I have. I do love the flares. Can it be distracting at some point? I don't think so. I think it's cool. It adds a little artistic touch to the video. I don't mind it. I love it, to be honest. But some people might have a little bit different of an opinion on that. Other than that, and also one more thing that I don't like about the lens is I just wish we had an autofocus and manual switch on the actual lens itself. Because come from shooting photos, I just find myself using the autofocus and manual switch on the lens a lot, especially if I'm just moving around a lot. But to keep the lens small, kind of minimalist, I feel like they kind of went with the correct way of making this lens, and that's just to keep it kind of sleek and to kind of mimic the actual kit lens that comes with the Nikon Z30. It's very versatile. You can bring it anywhere you want. So not only is this lens good for, professional filmmaking where you're shooting weddings or commercials or corporate stuff like that, or even a behind the scenes camera or behind the scenes setup, this camera is perfect if you're doing vlogs or traveling and you want to be traveling with something very minimalist, just a camera and the lens itself. This setup is actually a great setup to go by. Now, I actually brought this setup with me 3 weeks ago when we shot for the Ottawa 48-hour film festival, and I gave this whole setup to, I think it was the PA, and she shot a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, and it was just very easy. It's like point and shoot. Autofocus works great, which is one thing that I feel like this lens has, and it's one of its strong attributes, is the autofocus is great. You can basically lend this whole setup to someone and it's just like a point and shoot setup. This lens actually has eye recognition focus, so if you are using it on the latest Nikon Z cameras, it will use eye autofocus to keep your subject in focus. Close focusing on this lens is 0.3 meters, which is actually very awesome because then we're gonna get that nice depth of field stopping down to all the way to f2.8. Another cool feature of this lens that I really like is that we have a declicked aperture ring. This basically means that we can seamlessly adjust our aperture, especially if we are shooting from inside to outside. I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes wedding filmmaking day, and also some of the behind the scenes boxing stuff that I was able to shoot. It's all about finding that right setup that is good for you in whatever project you are shooting. Talking about what I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that is where gear does not matter. It somewhat does to a certain extent, but don't need to buy the most expensive camera gear, because I could have shot this wedding on the Nikon Z8 or on any other camera, but instead I chose to shoot on the Nikon Z30 with the AstrHori 27mm 2.8. Using this setup that is under $1,000 and being able to shoot professional type of content, I just feel like there's so much room for more creativity, because we don't have to worry about adapting other things to the camera. Instead, we can actually focus on the type of content we need. And that's why I decided to go very minimalist on this wedding day and just actually focus on the type of shots that I wanted to get. And just shooting, or, let's not talk about wedding filmmaking, period. We could talk about shooting behind the scenes or vlogging or, shooting boxing stuff. I feel like this setup can do it all. And, having that perfect focal length, a 27mm, like I said, it can be anywhere between a 35 to a 37, maybe even a 38. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like that focal length is perfect to shoot so many different types of projects, but at the same time, keep you as creative as possible. That's it for this video. If you guys are interested in purchasing this lens, I will post a link in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this video, comment and let me know what you think about this lens or the quality of this video. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next video.